Today on Ask This Old House.
This is called a floating tenant, and I'll show you how to use them to repair an oak floor.
I'm heading to Alaska to make sure one homeowner is never without electricity. With one cord going into your house, we can send 120 or 240 volts into your home. And also those really tricky things to wire, like your hardwired well and your hardwired heating system, those aren't even an issue because it goes right into that main system.
Okay, perfect. And we'll take another trip inside a dishwasher, this time to learn more about how they work.
That's next on Ask This Old House.
Hey, Bill.
Scott, welcome to Alaska.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. You want a beautiful place?
Thank you. Yes, we've been here 4 years,
Okay.
and that's after 20 years of moving around with the military.
Wow. Thanks for your service, man.
Thank you very much.
That's great.
Yeah. So we've decided after some time overseas, as well as in northern New York, that this is where we want to call home and settle down here as we retire.
Well, it is a beautiful summer day, I'll tell you. The mountain view and the lushness of it, it's unbelievable.
Yes, thank you. And it can be deceiving because it's not always this way.
Yeah.
We get high winds pretty much year round, but in the winter we get the snow, we
Yeah.
get frigid temperatures, and we tend to lose power in the winter.
Do you? Yeah, so that's a problem. I would imagine things freeze up pretty quickly out here.
Right, so we've got a natural gas boiler
All right.
that provides us with the heat.
That's good. You have
And our
gas.
well
Yeah.
is on the electric, and of course those are two of the things that we really have to have in order to keep this house open.
Okay, so you have well and heat with natural gas. That's good.
It is, however, we're also in an earthquake zone. So about 6 months ago we had a 7.2 earthquake, so natural gas is not always an option for us.
Wow. All right, so you need to power some lights, some outlets, a well, and your heating system, and natural gas is not an option.
Right.
All right, I think I have a solution for you. Let me show you what I brought.
Okay, great.
All right. All right, Bill, here's your new portable generator.
Oh, wow, this is really nice.
Yeah, so it's a good size. It's 7,500 watts.
Wow.
And basically it has the same engine style as a snowblower. It's a 4-stroke engine. Has a spark plug, an air cleaner. You got to check the oil. Other than that, as long as you keep gasoline in it, it'll run for as long as you need it to.
Okay.
A lot of people will just plug right into these plugs right here.
Right.
And they'll run cords inside through a doorway. It's really messy because you have to pull out a refrigerator, plug it in. It's a pain in the neck.
Okay.
What I like to do here is use this outlet right here.
Okay.
Because with one cord going into your house, we can send 120 or 240 volts into your home, which is the same power as the utility company uses.
Okay.
And also those really tricky things to wire, like your hardwired well and your hardwired heating system, those aren't even an issue because it goes right into that main system.
Okay, perfect.
Now, I would assume this is going to live in the garage?
Yes.
Okay, and you roll it out,
Right.
start it up. You can't run a combustion engine in a garage or any sort of space, so you got to pull it out of there.
Okay.
And it's not a great spot right out in the middle of your driveway here. So
Yeah, I'd prefer to not have it out front where everybody can see it, so maybe out back?
maybe out back would be a nice spot. Why don't you show me what you were thinking?
Okay.
Okay.
So Scott, will this area work?
Yeah, this works good. So we need to stay 5 feet away from any window or door
Okay.
because of combustion.
Right.
We got that.
Yes.
Now the next thing we need to do is put a power inlet on the side of your house
Okay.
that has a wire that goes into your electrical panel.
Okay.
What's on the other side of this wall?
So that's a finished media room, but our utility room is over here next
Okay.
to these vents.
So right there on the other side of those vents, that's where your electrical panel is?
Yes.
All right, that works. Show me what's inside.
Okay. Scott, this is our utility room.
All right, nice. I would assume these are these vents that I saw from the outside?
Correct.
All right, that's a great reference point. We got our drinking water here, a well, the whole heating system.
Yes.
Beautiful. All right. And the main electrical panel here too. Beautiful. So the main power comes in from the utility and it sends power to the back of all these circuit breakers where they snap in. And then on the circuit breaker, there's a black wire usually, and that distributes the electricity to the lights, to the outlets, to the heating system, to the well.
Okay.
Now that wire going up to those, we need to disrupt that. We need to interrupt it. We can't have the utility on at the same time as the generator.
Okay.
That's where this comes into play. This is a manual transfer switch. It's got all these wires on it, and it mounts right here next to the panel. Has these 10 circuit breakers, so they protect the circuit while the generator is running. And then it's got these really neat selector switches. So in the up position is generator, bottom position is line.
Okay.
So basically it's going to live in the line position. When the utility power is on, it stays there. When you lose power, you start the generator up, come downstairs, put that in the up position which says generator, and then those 10 circuits are isolated from the utility. Power comes back on, you see the stuff that wasn't on when the generator was running, you come downstairs, put it online, everything's running on utility.
Seems easy.
All right, so let's get started. We're going to mount this right next to the electrical panel.
Okay.
And tie it in that way.
All right.
Okay, that's good right there. The main shutoff in this house is out at the electric meter. So while I turn off the power, I need you to choose the 10 circuits you want to run with the generator. Remember, 240-volt circuits require 2 spots. The transfer switch has 1 ground and 1 neutral for all 10 circuits, which we tie into the main electrical panel. Now this mix of reds and black wires, these are your hot wires.
Okay.
For each 10 circuit, you have a red and you have a black, and it's marked. See the C's on these?
Yes.
Each one of these breakers has a corresponding letter, A through J. Here's your C breaker right
Okay.
here. So to wire the transfer switch, on the main panel, I remove the wire on the circuit breaker that sends power upstairs to the lights and appliances on that circuit, and replace it with a new red wire from the transfer switch. The black wire from the transfer switch will splice into the power wire we removed from the circuit breaker. In normal operation, power will feed into the breaker from the utility and head down the red wire to the transfer switch. That power will continue back on the black wires to the selected lights and appliances. When power is lost, the breaker at the panel is no longer in use. Power would then travel in from the manually started generator through a circuit breaker on the transfer switch and back up the black wires to the lights and appliances we selected for emergency power.
Okay.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
We'll send power into the basement from the inlet with this 10-3 non-metallic wiring. Okay, so this is where the power inlet is. The cord can stay inside that. It's a little tricky to get in, so I've given you this hose reel right here.
Okay.
This is where you can leave the cord all the time. It's very well protected.
That's a great idea.
Now, I have 55 feet of cord, so you can put this anywhere you want in your yard.
Okay.
They give you a 10-footer. It's just not long enough. Now, how I did this was they sell this cable in bulk at the home center. So I just stripped the wires back. I put these ends, which they also sell at the home center, on this and gave you a great cord.
Hey, thanks.
All right, so plug this into that heavy-duty one right there. Now it's a twist lock, so you push it in all the way and turn it a little bit till it clicks. That's it.
Okay.
You ready to fire this up?
I'm ready.
All right, there's 4 things you have to do. Turn the red button on, and then come over here and turn the gas on, and then the choke all the way open. Now after it starts, you shut the choke off.
Okay.
And we're going to turn the breaker on. We'll run inside and switch the switches.
Okay.
All right, go for it.
All right.
Okay, so the generator is sending power to the transfer switch.
Okay.
And the main breaker outside on the meter socket is still in the off position.
Okay.
So we have a simulated power outage right now.
Right.
Why don't we go ahead and hit those switches from line up to generator.
Okay. Hey,
There you go.
we got lights.
So we're on generator power right now.
Okay.
Let's go outside and turn the power back on.
All right.
All right, the utility power is restored.
Okay.
You can shut the generator off, put it away in the garage until you need it.
Okay.
Hopefully you won't.
I hope not, but it's good peace of mind knowing that it's there.
Yeah, it is.
So thanks for coming to Alaska, Scott.
Hey, you know, you got it. And seeing this view, boy, it is beautiful. I can see why you landed here.
Wow, what a beautiful spot.
Magnificent.
Yeah.
It certainly was, yeah.
Well, you have to realize that when you're using a generator like that, it has gas in it, and you have to treat that gas or it can go bad on you in a matter of weeks.
Wow.
So we take and treat all the gas for ethanol, and that way it'll have a prolonged life.
Yep.
What I like to do is take the machine, fill it up with treated fuel,
Yep.
turn off the gas line and run the machine and get all the fuel out of the line, and then it'll be ready for you to start it up.
That's good. Well, the automatic standby ones that we use with natural gas and propane, those run once a month to do kind of cycling and get everything fresh, but that must be the alternative, so.
This will work.
So a nice little trip for you, but most importantly, that trip means that we can check off our 49th state.
Good.
So there is Alaska. That one is complete. Good job.
One left.
Richard, that piece we did a few weeks ago where you put the wrong dish soap in your dishwasher and we showed it all bubble up and everything.
The wrong way to do it. I washed my floor.
Well, you know what, right or wrong, we got a ton of comments, letters, tweets, the whole thing. People loved seeing that thing work from the inside.
Right. It gives us good reason to go back inside and see how a typical dishwasher works and take it through a full cycle.
Right.
Now this happens to be a smaller than normal. This is only 18 inches wide. Normally they're 24 inches wide by 24 deep. There's only 3 connections a dishwasher needs: hot water in, discharge to a drain out, and electrical. Now on the front, everybody knows these, but what really all you're selecting here is how long the cycles are.
So if I choose light wash, it's going to be shorter. Heavy wash is really just longer, more cycles.
And less water. So obviously you're going to get more if you have pots and pans, so it's going to stay longer in a scrubbing cycle. All right, so now we open it up. Can you just grab this?
I'm unloading the dishwasher
Thank
for
you.
you.
So now, the hot water comes in right here. Now it comes in and it fills this reservoir. At the very bottom, there's actually a tub or a pan that will fill up with water. And as it fills up, this float will sense the level and it'll shut it off to know that we've got this filled. Now this is an electrical element. Most people think they have to turn their hot water heater up to 140, 150. They don't have to. They can leave it at 120. This heating element will actually heat up the water. Then it'll pull it down in through a pump at the very bottom. You've got to be sure to keep this clean down here.
Yep.
Make sure there's no food that gets in here. Now it comes out through this wash arm. And this wash arm will spin around. In this bottom one, that'll wash the bottoms. But most dishwashers also have an upper one that'll either pop up or one that comes out through the back and will wash it. Okay? So now that'll work, it'll work. And what's happening is it'll work for a certain amount of time, then it'll dump. A lot of people think that you've got a hot water pipe always putting water in. It doesn't. It takes the same water and moves it around,
Fills the
dumps it,
tub,
and then fills it
empties,
again. Yeah,
refills,
right.
gotcha.
And really it's a question of how many times it does it.
Okay.
So right here you've got the places where you're going to put stuff in. This is pre-wash. There's no door there. So that means when you put it in, when you close the door, it's used on the first load. This is the regular wash. And then this is for the drying agent. You might put that in to reduce spots, maybe do it once a month.
And on the regular wash, we know that this is closed at the beginning, but then there's a little timer that'll pop it open,
right.
you know, halfway through or a third of the way through the cycle.
And by the way, use the right stuff, okay?
I learned that lesson. So we're going to fire this thing up and
Do
see
as
it
I
work
say,
properly.
not as I do. All right, let's put that in.
There you go. This is going to be cool.
All right, so let's turn it on. When you first turn it on, there's a pre-purge, and that's to make sure that all the water is out from the previous cycle.
So it's got to fill that basin before it'll pump it through all the different wands.
So the float just engaged, and here comes the water. Look at that. This is really cool to be inside, isn't it? Is this as exciting for you as it is for me, Kevin?
Almost.
All right, so it looks like the pre-wash is toning down. Yep, okay.
So this is drain, empty.
And after that bottom tub has refilled again and they've reheated it, you'll see that main soap door open.
Oh, there it goes.
All right, so door is open. So after that main wash, then you'll hear it discharge. Now the water comes on again. Now it's clean water. It's going to rinse those dishes off. Some dishwashers actually do it, dump it, and then do it one more time. Fill it up so it's a second rinse. After all the rinses are done, it discharges the final time, and then that lower element that sits at the bottom will come on, and that's going to act to heat up that air inside. Oftentimes you'll feel heat coming out through the front right here, discharging that heat so it doesn't build up too much. And then hopefully they come out clean and dry.
Nice, very cool. All right, so next week inside your washing machine?
Yeah, that's right. Come on in. I'll put my goggles on.
Nah, it's actually good information. Thank you.
It's fun to visit inside.
Tommy, thank you for coming over.
It's my pleasure. I like your house.
Thank you. We love it. It's nice and open. It's really good for entertaining. We love this island.
Oh, this is a great island. Everybody wants an island.
Our kids do their homework here. We entertain here. This is where the family gathers.
It's a great hangout. I love your floors.
We love them too, but there is one problem with the floors. It's right here, right at this step.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I see what you're talking about. This joint between the transition of the flooring and the stepping off point. It's really a bad joint. Let me explain to you how wood moves. It actually expands and contracts over its width. So your floor is going to go this way, the nosing is going to go this way. So when it's dry out, this board could shrink and this joint could open up. Well, it's opened up a little bit, but I can also see that they did a real lousy job cutting the flooring where the nosings met. So what we need to do is see if we can straighten that out. All right, Kate, I've got all the tools. I set up a table so we have a little workstation here. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the nails underneath that nosing so we can take that out.
All right.
Because we're going to need some eye protection and ear protection, it's going to get noisy.
All right.
All right. Now I'm going to cut the nails from under the board with a reciprocating saw, but the first thing I have to do is make a little room for the blade. So I'm just going to wedge it up a little bit with a chisel. Pick it up. So now I'm going to take the saw blade, push it in there, and cut the nails. Right now I'll just pry it up. There you go. Just bend that right over. Watch out for the nails underneath. Okay, let's take a look at the board, see what we have. All right, now when I look at the board, I can see this construction adhesive right here, how thick it is. So it dried before the board was pushed down tight. That's why the top of the board was higher than your floorboards. And I see the edge right here. You can see all this filler that was put on here. The board itself looks like it could be straight, but they added filler in here for the uneven cuts of your floorboards. So let's pull out all these nails, see if we can get rid of this glue and straighten it out.
All right.
Okay, now I gotta get that glue off of there. All right, let's see how the board fits now that we've cleaned up all the filler. Look at how bad that joint is right there.
Yeah.
They cut the ends of these floorboards crooked where it met the straight edge. So what we need to do is straighten them all out. So I'm going to take a straight edge, I'm going to lay it on the floor, and I go to the widest point of this gap right here and make it even all the way down. So now when we take a saw and cut off all the boards, they'll all be straight and this should be tight. All right, so now I've straightened out that cut all the way down, except for where I hit the wall right here at the front of the saw. So this little bit right here, I have to do by hand. Now the other thing that I had to do is I actually had to cut a little bit off the back side of this horn. This is an extension that it goes past the baseboard. If we didn't remove that, we wouldn't be able to push the board in.
Okay.
All right, so now I'll put it down. Push it up tight, and now we have a nice tight joint.
Wow, that looks a lot better.
Okay, so now we've got a nice tight joint, but we don't want it to open up, and we want to make sure that it stays flat. To do that, I'm going to use these right here. This is actually a floating tenon. To install these, I have to put a little mortise in the board and another one into the floor. Once we glue them in there, that will hold the board nice and tight. To make sure all the tenons line up in the nosing and in the floorboards, I'm going to put a reference line on each. One on the floorboard, one on the nosing. That's good. Okay, that one. Good. All right, Kate, I've got some construction adhesive down. I'm going to put some more white glue on over here, and then you can give me that piece and we can slide it into position.
All right.
So now what I'm going to do is work it right in, and I'll tap it in as we go down. Well, there you go, Kate. What do you think?
I love it. It looks so much better. I can't believe it. And it wasn't even that hard to do.
It wasn't that hard to do. Just think, if they had only done it right the first time, I wouldn't have had to do that.
But I'm so glad you came over anyway.
Well, thanks for the help.
Thanks, Tommy.
Next time on Ask This Old House.
Our painter Mauro Enrique will show us a time-saving way to paint your windows.
Whoa, 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 you're painting the glass.
Exactly.
I'm using some high-tech tools to find a clog in a drain line. So that tells us that it's 2 feet 8 inches down.
If you're using an electric space heater, I'll show you an upgrade that's safer and easy to install.